Everyone, first order of business of the day. Shall we all stand for prayers, please? Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercies, for your goodness, for your grace, for your loving kindness towards us as your people. We thank you because this is the day that you have made, and indeed we will rejoice and be glad in it. We ask for your guidance, your direction, and your mercies today as we begin and continue these proceedings today. We pray for a productive and a fruitful session for the advancement and the development of our nation, the agricultural sector. In your name we pray, amen. You may be seated this morning. I am Shameen Melville Edwin. I am the Acting Chief Veterinary Officer with the veterinarian of this national workshop or consultation on apiculture. We thank you for accepting the invitation. We know that persons in here today are all persons who are interested in apiculture, who are interested in developing our sector in St. Lucia. We want to welcome this morning our Director of Agricultural Services, Dr. Aurea King-Snack. We want to welcome Mr. Greg Rollins, ICA representative for the EC States, Mr. Giles Romulus, National Coordinator for Jeff Small Grants Project, Mr. Vernie Manuel, Director of St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, who will be joining us remotely. We also want to welcome Mr. Glenfield Gilbert of Export St. Lucia, Mr. Brent Theophil, Technical Specialist of ICA, Mr. Richard Matthias of Ianola Apiculture Collective, our technical officers of the Department of the Veterinary and Livestock Services Division, Department of Agriculture, our representatives from the Taiwanese Mission here this morning, representatives of CYEN, our beekeepers, our beekeeping associations and clusters, the group of Eastern apiculturists, Aurora Bee Cluster, representatives from Arising Brothers. We welcome all of you here this morning, and we're hoping that we'll have a productive and fruitful session this morning. When I was approached some time ago by Mr. Romulus of Jeff to implement a national workshop, it was indeed, we thought it was a very fitting time to bring all our stakeholders, all our partners in the sector together at a time when we want to see the apiculture sector grow and flourish. There are many benefits to be derived from apiculture. Apiculture, the sector, offers us many benefits that we have yet to tap into. And so we thought it very fitting that we can bring everyone here together to understand the role of our partners as well, to understand the needs of our stakeholders, to foster greater collaboration among our stakeholders and our partner agencies for the development of the apiculture sector. Also to understand the activities, what initiatives are being undertaken in apiculture as well. So the activity here this morning has several goals, which I will mention briefly to introduce systems and way of thinkings of managing apiculture systems in St. Lucia, to identify and share new techniques in apiculture, to speak of a national honey show, to introduce participants to a new initiative, research and innovation biodiversity project in apiculture, also to promote our beehive products, to promote national standards in apiculture. So we're hoping today that our participants will be actively involved, will understand new techniques. We hope that our beekeepers will participate, share their concerns and needs, how we can improve the sector, how we can develop the sector moving forward. The outcomes of today's sessions will be collated. We do have a scribe, and the information will be shared subsequent after the session here today. Today's session is also being streamed live, so you can share the link. We will give you the link later. You can share it with your friends. You can share it as well. It's being streamed live on the website of Jeff, as well as IAC's website, as well as the Department of Agriculture's website is being streamed live. All right, so with no further ado, I want to thank you this morning, and we want to invite Dr. Aurea King-Snack, our Director of Agricultural Services, to share with us the ministry's policies and ministry's guidelines on apiculture this morning. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Pleasant good morning and a pleasant welcome to everybody here today. It's very nice to see you. I hope I see you and many more persons in the future when it comes to apiculture activities. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge and adopt the already established protocol, but I also want to make special mention to the Minister David Simon, Deputy Head of the Mission of Mexican Embassy, and also Mr. Greg Rawlings, ICA ECS representative. Also, by all means, Mr. Giles Romulus, Jeff Small Grant Program representative, manager. I'd also want to represent Export St. Lucia, Mr. Glenford Gilbert, Bureau of Standards, who's meeting with us virtually. All the other members that are here today, I would like to welcome you and express our appreciation of you being here today. So, beekeeping in St. Lucia has a long and extensive history. Contrary to what many may think, honeybees are not native to St. Lucia. They were actually brought in and introduced in the early European settlers in the 1800s. By the early 1900s, most of our beekeepers were exhibiting much self-reliance in terms of production of inputs needed for their operations. This would include things like smokers, woodware, wax foundations, extractors, etc. And additionally, much of the honey that was produced was exported to the UK. Beekeeping has also had a significant role in sustaining rural livelihoods and offering a means of income generation. It is absolutely important to note that our bee species play a critical role in the conservation of biodiversity through pollination. I bet most of you didn't know that, right? The Department of Agriculture is highly cognizant of the important work of our bees in enhancing our agricultural productivity and conserving biological diversity through their role as pollinators, leading not only to the production of beautiful flowers that you see all over the place, but also to produce fruits and other agricultural crops, which are much needed to ensure our food and nutrition security is much needed and is sustained. Our bees are truly tiny powerhouses. Despite the huge benefits of apiculture, both in terms of the economic and ecological impacts, we have yet to fully tap into the full potential of an integrated apiculture sector, which is thriving. Today, the value of honey and other hive products is estimated to be about 2 million. Benefits which can be derived from the apiculture sector are far-reaching, from the production of primary hive products such as honey, propolis, pollen, to value-added products such as in those used in the cosmetic industry and those new research innovation areas such as the use of bee venom and honey in the pharmaceutical industry. Honey production alone can offer tremendous earnings. According to Statista.com, honey production in the US amounted to approximately $300 million, US dollars that is, in 2020. The growing trend of consuming honey as a health food has also pushed the demand for this product. The health benefits of this product are undeniable and abundant. Unfortunately, I do not have the opportunity here to be able to mention all the benefits, health benefits of honey. But I must say that honey has been characterized as a high antioxidant. It helps improve cholesterol levels, and it can promote healing of burns and wounds. That's just a few. I think we need to have a session only to speak on the health benefits of honey. Yeah? It is therefore prudent that we harness the full potential of the sector in order to maximize economic and ecological benefits. The Department of Agriculture has as its mission to promote a diversified national income base from agriculture and fisheries, and to enhance food security and livelihood systems by generating the capacity for efficiency and competitive production and marketing of respective goods and services. We believe that development of thriving integrated apiculture sector can indeed help us to achieve this goal. In this vein, the department, through the Veterinary and Livestock Services Division, has recognized the need to adequately address the requirements of producers in the sector and ultimately work towards the holistic development of the sector. We have sought to do this through, 1, internal restructuring of our apiculture unit, as well as additional training for technical staff, in the hope to build a cadre of technical competent officers and strengthening the existing farmers groups and cluster formations. 3, by supporting increased honey production in order to meet our local demand with a long-term goal of looking to export. 4, the development and training in standards for production and processing of honey. Standards are very important. It makes no sense producing honey and we're producing at substandards. So it's important to promote that aspect. As the regulatory agency for animal health in St. Lucia, the Veterinary and Livestock Services Division continues to work to prevent the entry of exotic diseases into the country through the implementation of stringent SPS measures. We are particularly proud of our animal health status. At present, we are enjoying the fact that we have not had any reports of any infectious diseases which is considered notifiable by the OIE, with one exception though, the virosis in bees. We are determined, therefore, to ensure that this status is maintained. We are very vigilant to prevent the introduction of new diseases, for it can have serious socioeconomic implications. This is particularly so for the apiculture industry. I'm sure in recent years you've noted that the numbers of bees have been decreasing significantly globally. This is due in part because of climate change, introduction of exotic diseases, and the constant use of pesticides and other chemicals. The fragility and sensitivity of these creatures is evident in their rapid demise. It is therefore incumbent upon us all who are involved in the sector to work towards safeguarding our ecosystems by practicing sustainable production methods and protecting our pollinators. There have been and continue to be numerous injections into the sector and initiatives geared towards its development. We have stakeholders and partner agencies like ICA, JEF SGP, UNDP, SSDF, the Argentine government, JICA, Export St. Lucia, to name a few, which have made meaningful contributions to the sector, of which we are very grateful. The Department of Agriculture continues to pledge its commitment to work with users, the apiculturists, as we strive to develop the sector. We also urge our partners to work collaboratively with our department, as the success of this industry depends or demands that we work together, building synergies, developing a nexus of shared ideas and competencies, and building capacity within our stakeholders. Today's exercise seeks to bring all our important partners and stakeholders together to discuss these items, gain more knowledge on the new and innovative methods in apiculture, and build networks for the advancement of the sector. The Department of Agriculture again pledges its support to the apiculture sector. We look forward to working with all of you and are excited for what lies on the horizon for the future of the apiculture in St. Lucia. I think today's activity is a step in the right direction, and I urge everyone participating today to let your voice be heard. Participate in the discussions, as each one of us has a role to play in the development and sustainability of the sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. King. Well said. We're hoping for greater collaboration with all of our partners. We need to work together to develop the apiculture sector. At this point, we want to invite our partners to share their role, their objectives, and to share briefly on their thoughts on apiculture this morning. So firstly, we want to invite Mr. Glenfield Gilbert of Export St. Lucia to share with us some of Export St. Lucia's initiatives this morning. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I ask that you allow me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. And also, I'd like to offer the apologies of my CEO, Ms. Sunita Daniel, who could not be here today, and so I stand in her stead. In 2019, Export St. Lucia successfully presented a proposal for the funding of a honey cluster project to the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, through Compete Caribbean. This was towards the development and eventual export of St. Lucia honey, and this was the Bee City Cluster Project. The Bee City Cluster Project has various components, including the creation of a profile for St. Lucia honey, marketing and promotion in international markets, and capacity building of beekeepers, extension officers, and other stakeholders in the sector. It also entails training in the national standard for honey and the creation of a certification scheme to guide and monitor the production and extraction processes of St. Lucia honey. Export St. Lucia believes in the importance of agriculture to an economy, not only because it allows for some level of self-sustenance, but for the fact that people must eat. This means that opportunities will remain endless for the bounty of our land. We are indeed lucky to have the ability and opportunity to work our land to support ourselves and our families. The world has taken a positive turn towards healthy eating. Vegetarianism, veganism, and even religion sometimes dictate what we can and cannot permit into our temples. Simple sugars have for some time come under great scrutiny, and healthier options are being sought for sweeteners every day. The health conscious will spare no penny to eat only what they deem worthy for consumption. Our honey can fill that void and satisfy both the healthy eater and the person looking for an alternative sweetener. As we speak, through the Bee City Cluster Project, we have researchers and marketers on the ground in international markets, developing a strategy for entry and also looking for prospective buyers. We are well aware, however, that currently domestic demand outweighs supply, and as such, production will have to increase. Through strategic partners, we are also in the process of securing the use of certified production facilities to ensure that the requirement is met when called for by prospective buyers. We have been working quite closely with other partners on this journey, namely the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, the Ministry of Agriculture, ICA, and the beekeepers on this bee city development drive. So far, the beekeepers have been supportive and willing participants. We envision the successful culmination of this project in December 2021, and all other factors being constant, a realization of the goals and objectives defined in the project will be realized. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your kind attention and look forward to a successful workshop as we move towards positioning St. Lucia honey alongside the best in the world. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert, for sharing with us the initiatives and projects of Expo St. Lucia as it regards apiculture. I am sure there are several persons there are many people who are not aware of the work that you're doing in the sector. We would now like to call on, Minister David Simon, who is the Deputy Head of Missions with the Mexican Embassy, and he will share with us today the initiatives and the support that can be offered by the Mexican Embassy government. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to participate in representation of the Mexican Embassy in this ceremony to make the start of a national workshop of apiculture. I wish to commend the effort of the Department of Agriculture to create and integrate apiculture industry in St. Lucia. We are convinced that cooperation is a key to both the development of our country. As you might know, Mexico shares with the Eastern Caribbean countries common difficulties and challenges. For this reason, and based on the principle of solidarity, the cooperation is one of the most important aspects of our relationship with St. Lucia. Among the cooperation project financed by Mexico, a special place deserves those related to the construction of infrastructure. The construction of the Daenerys North Water Plant, whose phase 1 was financed by the Mexican government, is a milestone on our cooperation and bilateral relation. Together with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture, Mexico took part in an initiative to build 2 greenhouses to train local farmers and students. We also participate in capacity building efforts and other kind of assistance, like the donation of resilient coconut plant to St. Lucia and the donation of 4 Mexican-made medical ventilation to the country with the objective to supporting the St. Lucian health system during the COVID-19 pandemic. All these cooperation projects and action demonstrate that Mexico is a partner and important cooperation country from the Caribbean. Support that the Mexican government will continue providing to St. Lucia and the other countries of the Caribbean. We wish all the success in this workshop and in the World Project, and I invite to make contact with the embassy if you have a specific project or initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Simon. Thank you for that pledge of support from the Mexican government with capacity building, as you mentioned, supporting infrastructure in the agricultural sector. And of course, that includes apiculture. So we look forward to collaboration. We look forward to working together with the Mexican government to develop apiculture in St. Lucia. At this point, we will invite Mr. Greg Rollins, who is the ICA representative for the EC states, to share with us.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Dr. Charmaine Melville Edwin, the Acting Chief Veterinary Officer. Permit me to adopt the protocol that has been established, and I want to extend a very pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. ICA is extremely pleased to have this opportunity to participate in this national workshop on apiculture under the theme Towards Creating an Integrated Apiculture Industry in St. Lucia. And we wish to commend the organizers, the Global Environmental Facility Small Grants Program, the Ayanola Apiculture Collective, and the Veterinary and Livestock Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture for putting this workshop together. Like other speakers, ICA recognizes the tremendous potential associated with the development of the apiculture industry. We see obvious benefits accruing not just to the honeybee beekeepers, but also to the country as a whole through the commercialization of products that can be exported, earning much needed foreign exchange, and also the intrinsic value of bees in the pollination process in agriculture. It is against that background that we at ICA have placed a lot of emphasis over the last 5 years or so in supporting the apiculture industry here in St. Lucia. And I just wanted to point quickly to some of these initiatives. Our technical cooperation activities have focused on capacity building in productivity enhancing areas, as well as socio-organizational and governance development of the representative groups. We have focused on apiary expansion, support for training and skill development in good apiculture management practices, training of youth and new entrants into the apiculture industry, introduction of the Perone hive and the application of sustainable beekeeping practices into the management regime, support for capacity building in instrumental examination through the Japan-Caribbean Climate Change Partnership, co-authoring of the Climate Smart Beekeeping Manual, support to Export St. Lucia in the implementation of the Compete Caribbean Bee City project mentioned earlier. We've also collaborated with the Millfleur Honey Producers Cooperative as the largest and most comprehensive beekeeper or representation, as well as with other representative bodies such as the Ayanola Apiculture Collective and individual beekeepers, with a focus on resource mobilization, networking and collaboration, knowledge transfer and exchanges. We have also provided support within the framework of the Apiculture project, a project supported by the government of Argentina. And there was a mission to St. Lucia some time back, and I understand we are already seeing tremendous benefits through linkages between the Argentinians and local beekeepers. To close, I just wish to highlight our priorities for apiculture industry development in St. Lucia. We have 4 strategic priorities. First is productivity enhancement through genetic improvement, improved forage availability, greater climate resilience, and improved beekeeper management of apiaries, especially pest and disease management, brood management, and financial management. The second area is market development to improve supply consistency for the local market, value-added, full range of hive products versus single focus on honey, and export market development. Third, improving collaboration among beekeepers, groups, individuals, and so on, so that we could benefit from the synergies of joint action. And finally, strategic support framework for industry development, which is closely tied to the theme of this workshop, a more tailored public sector support, as well as added collaboration with support organizations and service providers. I wish to again commend the organizers to once again commit the Institute, ICA, to continuing to support this important industry, working in close partnership with all the collaborators, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Taiwanese Technical Mission, supportive government such as the Argentinian government, the Mexican government, the JEF Small Grants Program, and other collaborators to ensure that we can take this industry forward towards achieving greater productivity and greater benefits for the beekeepers and to everyone in St. Lucia. So I wish you all the best. I do hope that you have a very successful and rewarding workshop that will contribute to the development of the industry here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rollins. We are indeed pleased to note the objectives of ICA as the focus on building capacity and so on. And we look forward again to continued collaboration with ICA. I hope our participants are noting the agencies here today and making those connections as well to develop your clusters, to develop your groups as you move on. This is an apt opportunity to do that. We're coming to a close, so I'd like to invite our last speaker for the morning, Mr. Giles Romulus, National Coordinator for JEF's Small Grants Program, to share with us this morning.
Good morning, colleagues and friends, members, colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, our colleague from Mexico, Minister David Simon, Mr. Greg from ICA, our beekeepers, some of whom have come as far from Grace and Vieux-Fort, and even Soufrière as well. I want to welcome all of you here today. In 2012, I returned to St. Lucia after managing the JEF Small Grants Program in Barbados and the OECS countries. The mandate was for me to establish the program in St. Lucia and the JEF focal areas, which varied from climate change to biodiversity, international waters, and so on. The very first month I arrived in St. Lucia, I was visited by an employee from the Ministry of Agriculture, Ms. Anthea Joshua, and she made a clarion call to interject and intervene to revive the apiculture industry in St. Lucia. And because of that significant appeal, in fact, the very first project we approved in St. Lucia in 2012 was with the Millefleur Honey Producers Cooperative. It was quickly followed by our friends from Choiseul. I see Marcus is there, the Honey Producers Disabled Association, and so on, in Choiseul. And between 2012 and now, we have invested in St. Lucia in excess of $650,000 worth of funding. That has created employment. It has expanded the industry and groups in St. Lucia. It has promoted research and innovation. It has built capacity. And most importantly, it is helping today to create a more integrated approach to apiculture in our lovely country, St. Lucia. These days in the Caribbean and in St. Lucia, there is a historical deficit in our memory. And I sometimes believe that history has to be made a compulsory project in the Caribbean. Because as we move forward, let's not forget the lessons. I always look forward, you know, in order to look into the future. The economic history of the Caribbean, even St. Lucia, has shown that our farmers in the rural parts of our Caribbean and St. Lucia have always gotten a small bite of the pie. with the majority of the value added going to the metropoles and the mother country and so on. I want to make an appeal to St. Lucia in apiculture. This must not happen. The value added along that value chain must remain in St. Lucia, and our people must become the supporters, the developers of apiculture in St. Lucia. Jeff is determined to do that and to invest in the capacity development of the people and government of St. Lucia. So let's remember the history. In cotton is the same thing that happened. Sugar, bananas, and even tourism now, our economists tell us the multiplier effect is very low. So let us remember that we are developing an industry that must become managed and developed by our people. The next point I want to make is in the area of research and innovation. We cannot stand still and be satisfied with the low-hanging fruit of just honey. If we do that, others will come in and will skim the value added and take it to other climes for development. We need to become more research-focused, become more innovative, and therefore introduce to the market continuously new products, new inventions in this area that we call apiculture. Research and innovation is not a luxury. It is a necessity in this climate change period or era. It is an existential need if a small island developing state is to survive in the future. And that is why later this year, we will present to the government and people of St. Lucia a document titled Research and Innovation in Small Island Developing States. It has already been printed, and we are waiting for the elections to end, and we are going to present it. And it contains work completed by our luminaries, that we call them, our luminaries from all over the world, from University of Connecticut, Bristol University, University of the West Indies, and right here in St. Lucia, from Beaufort and Labrie and around. We are all scientists in one way or the other. We are all innovators in one way or the other. And we must begin to understand that research and innovation is not the single domain of the white-coated, bearded scientists in a laboratory. It is all our business. So this is my second point. The third point is that we need to make the strong link between apiculture and environmental management. We cannot be only satisfied with the income and the employment from apiculture. We have to become more and more concerned about the environment. If I ask some of you apiculturists here in the room how many trees you have planted in the last year or so, I suspect it might not reach 100. I may be wrong, but we are having difficulties and challenges in encouraging our apiculturists to look beyond the honey in the bottle and the ching-ching in the pocket. Look at the environment. Let us focus on the quality of our environment. The last point I want to make is the importance of partnerships. Partnerships with our bilateral agencies, countries, Mexico, the Taiwanese, and many others, but also with our multilateral agencies like ICA, operating in LAC, the Latin American Caribbean area, and also locally as well, at the community level, at the governmental level, at the national level, and within the wider Caribbean region. We at JFSGP stand ready to support the initiatives and the policies of the government of St. Lucia. We believe apiculture can have a very bright future for St. Lucia, for our rural folk, and beyond that, if we continue to do the necessary research and innovation, bringing those ideas to market, I think we have another star that will shine for this economy we call St. Lucia. So I hope you enjoy the workshop today, and I hope we all come out of here not making a step, but because it's the Olympics, let's make a jump. Thank you very much.
I have to make that shift as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Romulus. Very important points were made in terms of environmental conservation and the impact of apiculture on the environment, which can be both positive and negative. Mr. Romulus mentioned planting of trees, but we do have cases of cutting down of trees to put hives. So we have to be mindful of that, because at the end of the day, we need, as apiculturalists, we need the trees, we need the forage for our bees. So we have to work in a sustainable manner. That is very important, and that is one of the things that we'll be focusing on today. One of the areas that we're focusing on in a workshop later today. So at this point, we want to thank all of you. We want to thank our head table. We want to thank our presenters this morning, our speakers. Thank you so much for our partners, ICA, Mexican government, Department of Agriculture, Jeff, Export St. Lucia. We want to thank all of you for sharing with us in Livestock Services Division, Department of Agriculture, to close us off this morning with a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam Chair and my head of department. I hope if I make any mistakes, it don't go on my appraiser. Protocols have been established, and I would like to adapt them. Beautiful good morning, everybody. An event of this magnitude didn't happen overnight. Not even the food preparation. The wheels may have turned years or even months before, and was initiated by Jeff and IAC. It required planning, a bird's eye view for detail. We, the Veterinary and Livestock Services, were fortunate enough to be supportive of this grand event. Like my superiors, the Ministry of Agriculture has promised to fortify our support and collaboration with essential agencies such as the Mexican embassies, Jeff, ICA, Export St. Lucia, and Pure Standards, not for ourselves, but for you, the farmers in our local community. For this reason, we, the Department of the Department of Agriculture, the Veterinary and Livestock Services had to look within to change our programs and strategies to adapt to the changes of apiculture and the international apiculture community. I cannot thank everyone enough for their participation in this workshop, and I do hope the output will be reflected in our farming communities. Most times when we come to workshop, we just come for the food, we just come to chat, and we don't express what we have learned. And this has been reflected in a number of workshops. People coming and saying that's the same thing they did the last time. And we have forms at the end of workshops where we ask, what do you want? Most times when we collect them, there's no relevant information. You'll see non-applicable. St. Lucia has a great change in agriculture. Poultry has changed. I have worked with poultry, and I have seen many efforts that the ministry want to adapt, and truly the farmers sit back and let things fall. I do not want to see that with apiculture at all. Be open to learning today and to be local ambassadors for apiculture in your fellow communities. I will close with these famous words of William Faulkner. Gratitude is similar to electricity. It must be produced, discharged, and used up in order to exist at all. which means our responsibility, and I say our, we all have to share our light in apiculture for others to see it. If not, apiculture will go to waste like poultry, bananas. And this is a vibrant and new, lively industry that we can make an impact for our country and bring in the needed revenue for our country so others can see the hope in agriculture. With these words, I'd like to thank you and wish you a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Auguste. Admonishment for all of us, for our farmers, for our producers, for our stakeholders. At this point, we want to invite you to partake in refreshments, which will be served immediately on the outside as you exit these doors. So refreshments, possibly 15 minutes, no more than 15 minutes, and we will return here to start off our workshop. We are already running late, so we don't want to spend more than 15 minutes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our stakeholders, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you very much.